Alright, Happy New Year to everyone. 2022 is finally here. 2020, it was quite crappy. 2021, okay only. But then this year, once it hits after the new year, it becomes like a wet new year. So the roads are wet, it's been always raining, and things we need still to get things going. It's the new year, so we need to get things going. So I want to come out and talk about wet riding in the rain, riding in wet situation in this video. Alright, let's talk about wet riding. Okay, basically, riding in the rain, there are a lot of people that also share about saying that riding in the rain is very dangerous, and you will definitely, there will be a higher chance of crashing, or cases like there's a high chance of accident by other vehicles. So actually I feel that riding in the rain actually help improve your riding. So I would actually encourage it. So why did I say that? Let me tell you more about what I felt. Is that when you ride in the rain, you will actually understand your tires grip better in your bike handling. Of course, no one really like riding in the rain. Honestly, I mean, when it's raining, we were like, oh man, we need to wear our raincoat, we need to prep up. Then when we reach over our destination, then when are we going to put a raincoat, all this. But riding in the rain, there's one thing that actually helps you get more prepared, okay? Because sometimes, especially during the first week of the new year, some parts of Singapore is raining. So it's like, okay, here is dry, then in between is raining. So in between, you have to really adapt to your bike in wet conditions. But if you are someone that hardly ride in the rain, you will tend to be inconfident riding in the rain, and you will be so focused on handling your bike and not concentrating on traffic. And that's where problems comes. Okay, that's where accidents happen. You are not aware of your surroundings, and that's not good. That's really not good. So I would encourage riding in the rain. And here are the few tips before you ride in the rain or ride in wet conditions. Okay, so for tip number 1, gear up. And remember to glove up, especially in wet roads, wet condition, glove up and gear up, okay? Because the thing is that I understand that it's raining, we don't want our gloves to be wet, we want it to be dry because it's not raining the whole day. Unless it's raining the whole day, then not much of a choice. So what I do is that I every time glove up with my mesh gear, with my mesh gloves. Okay, so these are my mesh gloves. Okay, this is the old one. Okay, my Tai Chi one. Then this is the one that I currently use. Okay, the Macna. This one is polyester, but it can easily dry. So I'm actually riding with gloves. Okay, definitely with gloves. Okay, so sometimes you have your old glove. All you do is that you actually pack one together with your raincoat. So you have a proper pair of gloves while riding, and this is wet. You still have your dry glove. So I usually will have one of my old gloves inside in my backpack, or when I'm riding out, when I see it's going to be wet weather, but usually I just put it together with my raincoat, and followed by this, okay, that I usually ride. Usually if it's a wet weather in that week, I usually will use much more like a mesh or polyester kind of glove so that it can dry easily. Okay, so how I usually dry it is that when I come back, especially when it's still moist or wet, I will actually dry it by turning my fan straight up, and then I just put it on top. Okay, from what I see and from what I experience, around an hour, it will really dry up. But an hour is like a strong full blast of the fan, and then it will dry up. So glove up. Okay, because without proper gloves, if anything happens, your hand is the first one that have the impact. And then even though you think it's like, oh, it's slippery, I won't have much injury, that is wrong. That is not the truth. Okay, you will actually hurt your hand, you will bleed, okay, through the asphalt, through the debris. It will just really scratch the skin off your palm, and it is very painful. So remember to glove up, okay, to glove up. Other than that, okay, one more thing. Why I say it's important to glove up is because of one more thing, is that when you glove up, you have better grip on your handle, better grip in your throttle and brake control. There's more grip. Okay, and that is very important because you are in full control of your bike. You won't want your pump to kind of slip, your brake to suddenly slip. When you actually brake, let's say you are braking, and then after that, because your fingers is a little like slippery, then the brakes lever just slide out. You won't want that, okay? You won't want that while you're riding. You want your bike to be in full control. Okay, of course, raincoat. So, yeah, this is what I'm using, okay, the Furio Beast, okay? And yes, I will sometimes use that. I will sometimes use the Decathlon one that I actually shared, which I put in all my bikes. So, but I was trying this out, okay? Trying this Furio Storm Beast raincoat, and I tried a few. I think Revit is one of the few molds that I actually got when I got my 2B. So basically, this raincoat got something that I really like is that it has actually waterproof pockets, okay? Pockets that is at the top chest area, which is very important because sometimes, right, when let's say we want to take out cash card or maybe we want to take out a wallet or whatsoever, if the pockets are actually at the lower part, and you're riding, because when you're riding, right, it's very hard for you to take things out of your pockets, right? There is waist down and lower chest area because of our tank. That depends on different type of bikes, but for my bikes, for my Super Sport and for my Hayabusa, it is a little, when you're sitting on the bike, right, your tank, your stuff, your bulky stuff will be kind of in the way. So, especially when you kind of like, you overlook and you're supposed to put a cash card in your IU when you're leaving a mall, and behind there's going to be a row of queue looking at you, kind of thing. So I really like that, and also it's also easy to access. So with this waterproof pocket, which here you can just cover, I find that this is a very good move and very good design, which I really like about this. And another thing is visibility. Okay, this one is neon yellow. Okay, and in the rain, there will be poor visibility, especially if the rain just get heavier and heavier. So as a motorcyclist, you want people to see you. You want you to be visible, and that is very important. Okay, unfortunately, the raincoat that I shared in my earlier video, the Decathlon, do not have that reflective feature. So that's the big downside, even though it's more portable, but that's the only problem with that. So I think, you can actually maybe get some armband, that's an extra thing to actually bring up your visibility, okay? So how about just only on wet roads? Okay, for wet roads, I would highly recommend for you to wear your riding jacket, okay? And a mesh one will be fine, okay? Number one, mesh riding jacket actually is much more cooler, and if it's actually a little moist, or let's say there's a sudden rain, then after that it's sunny again, Singapore roads, kind of thing, then it will dry off very fast. And some more, it's mesh, so it can dry off, but at the same time you got a padding to protect you. So that is very important. Keep yourself geared up, okay? Keep yourself geared up, because you will never know, and at least you're protected. Because some injury, I got a friend, he let me use his photos, that he actually kind of like skidded, okay, and his gloves are at home. He did not wear it. He thought, I think, never mind, okay. And then he got a very bad injury, and the palm is, it is bloody. And how, the thing is that when our palm is the one that is damaged and injured, it is very, that type of gruesome feel. And when it's recovering, it's very itchy, and yet you cannot scratch it. Yeah, so you won't want that, okay, you won't want that. As for the gloves that I said earlier, which I think I missed out, okay, when you are actually looking for gloves, okay, to protect, just ensure about this part, you can protect your palm area, okay, because the first thing is that, so over here you see I also have one here, okay, for both different brand of glove, but they have these important parts of it, okay. Why is that so? Because when anything happens, the first contact point is here. Okay, the first contact point is here. So when anything happens, bam, our hand on the ground, this is the first thing that we will have impact on. Then followed by sliding. So you can see how much it protects. All these things, all these small little features are not for show. And also next one is the knuckle. Okay, the knuckle has to be hard. Okay, like for my Tai Chi glove, hard knuckle. Sorry, just put over here. Okay, hard knuckle. Okay. Okay, this one is also as important. So basically, slide, you know, you won't want this part to be injured as well, okay? These are the parts that usually you will have to protect upon collision. All this design is meant for something. It is not meant to be like, okay, for sure, oh look, it's carbon fiber kind of thing. There is a reason, okay? So you just ignore that. So when you're choosing gloves, okay, for everyday riding, I would recommend mesh, okay? Last time I actually, leather, there is a gloves that is actually full leather, and there is like semi-leather. That means half mesh and half leather. Okay, I go take it. Okay, yeah. So this is the half mesh, half leather. Okay, it's also my Macna brand, and then you can see that there is this is a goat leather, and also there is actually mesh. It's also mesh here. So I use this every day as well, and I like the grip. I prefer the grip on this. But when it comes to wet weather, right, I want something that dry up much more faster. This one still can dry up fast, but the full leather one will take a very long time, and I won't recommend for wet weather because it is when it's moist and when it dry up too much and you have no time to really maintain it, leather care, it will crack. So I do still have some of my leather gloves that is like as hard as a rock. So you know you can really like hit and hurt people with it. So yeah. So glove up, okay? Glove up, raincoat up, riding jacket up. Just basically protect yourself, okay? That is very important. That's tip number one. For tip number two, okay, just avoid the road marking lines, okay? You can see those white lines, double line, white stripe line, chevron, okay? In Singapore, it's not so bad, okay? I feel that there is still some grip on these markings, some. I mean, I say some is quite little. It does not mean that you can just break on it and then say, I guarantee it won't fall. No, okay? So you try to avoid that, okay? So the lines are the one that actually will make you kind of like have little slips, little skidding there and here, okay? So that's why I say sometimes you really have to have your gloves on so that you won't actually slip off your controls, okay? So this is important. Okay, tip number three is avoid water puddles. Okay, the thing is that yes, I mean your tires, you know, where you have a good tire pressure, good tire, aquaplaning won't be an issue, but it is best that you can avoid as much as you can. Sometimes you will see that, okay, it might be just a harmless water puddle, but you do not know what is below it. It might be some, maybe it might have a little oil stain, it's actually floating, but you cannot really see, you know, but you can see there's a puddle there. You're trying to actually lessen the risk of losing grip in this type of wet weather. At the same time, you won't have extra oil slicks or whatever that is like sticking onto your tires after you pass through them. Of course, there are cases we cannot avoid them, okay? But if can be avoided, just avoid it. And tip number four, try to avoid drainage cover. Actually, it's not only a drainage cover, the metal plate that, you know, during construction on the road, you know, there will be metal plates that will actually be placed on temporarily. I would recommend you try to avoid them if possible. Okay, going on the metal plate is not a problem. It is when you actually need to do an e-brake and you happen to be on the metal plate. So that is going to be an issue. So if let's say you have to go through it, just be careful. It means that you make sure that you have much more safer distance away from the car in front. Okay, because you know, jam braking on a metal plate don't work. At the same time, riding around it, I mean, especially in corners or what, you know, or maybe you are just initiating a corner or changing lane, there will be a chance of slight little skid. Sometimes a slight little skid, if you lose control, you'll just slide and then get yourself into trouble. So you won't want that. So I would recommend try to avoid it at all costs if possible. Okay, but if cannot, just approach cautiously. Even in dry weather, I would recommend to actually just try to avoid it lah. You know, because the thing sometimes it might have some slight little oil over it, or you know that actually dried up kind of thing. So I would recommend that, you know, going straight over is not a problem, but when you're actually knowing that you're going to change lane or there's going to be a turn in any way, I would recommend you just go straight over the metal plate first. Then you can change lane, you can turn whatever, but just go over first. Okay, don't do it while you're on the plate because it's really, really dangerous. And tip number 5. All right, for tip number 5, I feel that it actually has to be a control every day whether you're riding in wet weather or whether you're riding in dry roads. That means do not brake abruptly, do not have any abrupt actions on your bike. Okay, do not brake abruptly, do not throttle, just accelerate just like that. Okay, do not abrupt acceleration, because this will actually lessen your grip in your tires. Okay, there is you will understand that, you know, when you accelerate just too fast, your rear wheel will spin. You brake too hard, your front wheel will lock. Okay, when this happens, especially during wet weathers, yeah, it is, you are just asking for trouble. It's going to be a very bad accident. For wet roads, also same thing. For dry, maybe you still can manage to avoid all this, avoid some problems. But then the thing is, if your speed, you know, is you're going a little too fast, then you're going to have a problem. So, most important thing is that you have to get your brakes up. You need to brake, squeeze the brake, okay, and roll the throttle. Don't jam the brake and just twist your throttle really fast, especially when it comes to gentle corners. Even though the corners are gentle, you know, you still have to have a very non-abrupt way of actually controlling your bike speed. Anyway, for the gearing up part, right, other than it protecting yourself, when you are actually much more drier, it actually helps you to focus on the road more. You are much more focused on the roads, what's happening around you, because when you're wet, when you are actually drenched, you know, the focus will actually cut quite a bit, okay? Because your body will be like cold, you will have all this distraction, strong winds, the raindrops keep on hitting you kind of thing, and you cannot really focus on the road properly. So I recommend gearing up actually helps in that, helps in your focus, and that's what you need, especially in wet weather situation. Alright, so there you have it. Here are my tips for wet road riding or riding in the rain. And I hope that these tips will help you. And remember, riding in the rain is actually a good practice. And I would really encourage it, okay? So if it's raining, you got a bit more time, go out. Wear your raincoat, ride out, then ride back, okay? You can just really understand your bike more. And all these small little practices can actually help you a lot in an emergency situation. So I hope this video helps you. And I hope you find it useful. If there's anything that you want to ask, do feel free to comment below, and I'll see you in my next video.